Hey everybody, hope you guys doing alright. So, again, I really don't like. I just want one female. That's it. No more, no less. Just one. And I don't like going back and forth between people. Like I don't like. I just don't like that. I've never cared for it. That's part of the reason why I've largely stayed out of like the dating game for the most part. Is because I don't like. I just don't like how quickly people will go from like feeling so like infatuated and involved in somebody, and then like the next day or the next couple hours, like pretending like they don't exist. Like I've just seen that shit happen, and I've felt the vibe of that happen, and I've just felt the drama and the meanness and the cruelty and the coldness, and then there's also like mixed with that is the contrast of like when they're together, like just being like or being oblivious to anything else in the world, like so I've seen a lot of that. Like a lot of that, it seems to be pretty relatively prevalent, especially for my age group, in regards to relationships. So I really don't like that, to be honest. I just don't. It's a part of it. It's a product. I get it. You got to learn to deal with it, but it's not my. It's not what I'm most fond with. I like treating people with respect and kindness, and I don't like leaving people in hurt places. And this is why I like when a particular person, shared how she left a particular individual in tears and didn't give a fuck. Like when I saw that, I was deterred. Like I was like, that's not the type of person I want to be with, because like I could never do it to somebody. I could never, break somebody's heart or leave them in a state of like them being completely miserable and crying and having like, because I know what it's like to be there, and it's not a fun place to be. It's a horrible place to be, and it's not meaning that you got to sit there and like blow smoke up somebody's ass, but you can still be there to help them get over that painful moment. Just leaving them straight up, like without any type of like, slow, smooth, caring closure, to me feels wrong. So like, it's another reason why I've been turned by a particular person is I saw her share those exact words about how she left somebody in tears and she didn't give a fuck. So that's not the way I like to roll, and I don't like speaking about people like giving my heart energy to people and then like in a few days moving on to somebody else. I really don't like that. I'm just being real. I don't. But I also know that like I'm very different. Most of the world does not operate the way that I operate, so I've got to learn to sacrifice and compromise a little bit. And so in doing so, I'm just being real with how I feel and what I've observed of late. And to me, it feels like, Jennifer Aniston, again, I'm just speculating out a pure intuitive feeling, essentially, because I have received no real confirmations of anything other than things telepathically and spiritually. So, but what I'm picking up on through those means is that there could be some doubt, and there could be some concerns and worries about all sorts of things, and where I'm going, where the trajectory of where this mission is going is not. There's going to be conflict. There's going to be resistance. There's going to be fighting. There's going to be more than likely loss of life. I mean, this is a battle. This is war. This is Most High is going against the lower vibrational frequencies of this realm. Right now, they're about to collapse, or they're about to collide. They're already colliding, but there's about to be a very climatic confrontation, if you will. And then the confrontation isn't so much, it's more of a confliction. Let's put it that way. So in that, there's devastation, destruction. Things are going to get messy. And sometimes, not all the time, because she's also got a pretty good, deal of warriorness inside of her. But sometimes I pick up on the fact or the feeling that Jennifer Aniston's a little bit maybe shy towards those type of things, and like isn't super like like gung ho about going into this type of a fight. Like I think she really wants to help humanity out, and she's done a lot of good charity work. So my hat goes off to her for all those type of things. But and that's part of the fight is the good charity work, but it is also literally, like standing up to these people with, and essentially putting your life on the line, like being prepared to die for this cause is, what's to me is what's necessary. So it's like it'd be fitting for me to have a female next to me who's also willing to die for this cause. And sometimes I'm just speaking from my own intuition and senses, I'm not even sure they could be totally wrong. But sometimes I pick up on the feeling that she might not be totally down to do so, which is fine, because I mean it's asking a lot of anybody to put your life on the line for another human being is a very, I mean that's huge. It's about as huge as you can get when it comes to sacrifice. Sacrificing your life for another it doesn't get any more profound than that. I mean it's your life. So I totally get it. Like I'm not but I got to be realistic with where I'm going and where I feel she wants to go, or where she's at, or where she may be at, or just what's going on right now. And that's what I'm picking up on. And then I'm also picking up on, and I have been picking up on for a little bit, I don't want to speak about it too much because, again, I don't like talking about a bunch of different people. Like, I like one person. I like to focus on that one person and try to make things work with that one person. So I haven't wanted to talk about this other person, but I have seen her, and I've also picked up on her intuitively in the spirit with some pretty good energy, and that's Jennifer Lopez. So, she comes off with a little bit more of a warrior spirit. And I looked into her name, and Lopez comes from, like, I think, is it son of the wolf, or from the wolf, or something to do with wolves. And I've always had a pretty strong relationship with dogs and wolves, especially Little Bear himself comes from a Native American reservation. He's got Husky and Labrador blood. He's got a lot of wolf energy. Like, he used to howl. Very cute, actually. When ambulances would go by, he would howl, like, with them. Like, he thought they were howling, and he would howl, like, with the ambulance. So, anyways, I've got a pretty good connection, I feel, with, like, the wolf spirits, if you will, and the bear spirits, and all these type of creatures. And her name has a connection to these type of these animals, these creatures, these entities, these energies. So, and she's also comes off as somebody who's a little bit more that one movie she did where she trained, she became, like, really strong to beat up her, or to protect herself, but I think she ended up beating up her abusive husband, who was beating the shit out of her, if I remember correctly. I forget what the movie was called, but after watching that movie, like, how good she did in that movie, I was like, dang, that's a chick that she really looks like she could really do that. Like, it was very believable. Like, her character, the energy she portrayed, it all seemed very authentic, and she seemed very capable of doing these type of things. And that's, like, essentially, that would be an ideal candidate for the type of thing that I'm doing. So, like, her spirit, that type of movie she did, just, like, when I look at her energy, she seems to have a little bit more of a, like, let's take it on, like, like, she's the Leo, so she's got that leader energy in her, which is a lot of what is needed right now, is humanity leading itself, like, in a good way. So that could be very beneficial. But again, I don't like, like, she, and it, I don't like mixing things up. Like Jennifer Aniston, she did something really sweet for me at a time when I was really hurting, and she comes off with a lot of really good, sweet, like, just chill, kind of, like, warm, kind energy, which is beautiful, and I love that. But at the same time, sometimes that energy isn't the best for war. Sometimes it's good to have more of an assertive, like, even aggressive, or just go get them, like, not being afraid, not being too shy. It's good to be concerned and worried, and take caution, and all these type of things. But sometimes you can be too much of these things and become too paranoid, and it can get you from doing things, and that can be very dangerous too. So it's like, got to be careful. But I want to say this, I have a lot of respect for both of these women, because Jennifer Lopez has also done a lot of charity work too. So it's like, anybody that's chosen to use their funds, whatever type of way, to help out other people, I really have a lot of respect for. As well as them both being very talented actresses, and I mean, J-Lo's also a musician, so and I know Jennifer's a very successful businesswoman, so my hat goes off to you guys and the good works that you guys have done. Yeah, I just want to share that, because that's on my heart. It's what I've seen and what I'm picking up on. So, all right, yeah, I love you guys. Y'all take care. Bye.